What's going on, everyone? I am extremely excited today because we are playing droids. We are playing droid tribal a bit here with Rey in the new set 5. I cannot wait to dive into the list and talk about what we're actually trying to do here. My goodness, guys. Big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel. And I got a TCG player link in the description down below. But let's dive in here and talk about what is going on with this. Now, we've got Rey. We got the ability to pay 1 to give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. This obviously works amazingly with a bunch of weak droids or units that have pretty weak stats in the first place. Now, there are not actually that many droids in the set, and a lot of them are very cheap. So I didn't want to like completely overload on all the droids and then just end up with no cards in hand and have a bunch of one cost plays. That said, we do have a couple of new cards from set 5 that makes this a lot more interesting. First off is Babu Frick. This is not a droid, but he is a 1-cost 1/4 with an action to attack with a friendly droid unit. For this attack, it deals damage equal to its remaining HP instead of its power. So the idea here is if we, let's say, throw an experience token on R2, use Babu Frick's ability, boom, you are smacking for 5 points of damage, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You know, you can definitely punch up in a lot of situations, and at least with Rey, you can even build R2 up to his 3/6, which is kind of crazy. We also have the new BD1. This is amazing in this deck. It's a 1 resource 1/3 with hidden, which means that we can play it, give a pump effect, and give an experience token, and it's most likely not going to die. But the other unit we have that's going to work with our droid units is Pelimoto. This was a 2-cost colorless 1/4 that gives an experience token to a friendly vehicle or droid unit on attack, which means we are playing a bunch of other droids. We've got Chopper, we've got R2, Part 2, we've got L3, all droid units. As you start going up in the curve, there are less and less droids, and most of them are villainy or like swarming vulture droid. One of the droids I could be playing is C3PO, and honestly, in the middle of this video, you might just see me drop in some C3POs to test it out just because I want to. But outside of that, we've got a bunch of smuggle options, a hotshot blaster, covert strength. L3 is also a smuggle option, mainly because all of our cards early on are so cheap that I want some ability to spend some cards in the resource pile as well as raise action. We got a little disruption in Spark of Rebellion as well as Kira, a little bit of extra combat power in Surprise Strike. Oh, and more disruption with Spire the Target. A little bit of Sentinel action with Village Protector. This is nice to kind of defend some of our early droids. Millennium Falcon for some immediately readied up unit damage. Ezra, this one's in here mainly because it's kind of a way to draw cards, and I have a feeling that at least in my earlier testing, we run through cards very quickly. And then Plo Koon as sort of an ambushing play, but we are playing Rey, and that's what we got going on. Hopefully we can win some games here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's dive into it. All right, into our very first game here. We got ourselves an interesting one up against Kazuda here, which is very, very scary, to be honest. I do think this hand is reasonable. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to resource the Cartel Spacer, the Plo Koon. I doubt that Plo Koon's actually going to be very good in this matchup. I'm a little bit worried about my opponent just going all space and absolutely dominating us. I am going to start off with the Pelimoto here, and then we will see what we're going to do as a follow-up. Let's go ahead and pass. We will get a Plo Koon here. I'm starting to think that my opponent is going to be going a little bit more into the ground arena with this Lothwolf. We will see what they decide to do here. They're going to remove some power on this Lothwolf. That's fine. I'm going to play an L3. Remember, L3 is a droid, which means I will be able to go ahead and get a little bit of value over on L3. And we can technically give a shield token to L3 and then attack with Pelimoto to get it to a 4-powered unit, which is pretty incredible, actually. So definitely nice value there. We will see what we want to do here, however. I can also give an experience token over to the Pelimoto to see what we could do there. Stolen AT Hauler, huh? Okay, I think what I will do is actually ignore the Babu Frick and just give an experience token over to Peli, just because. Oh, and they have an R2, huh? Okay, interesting. That's crazy. That's going to be a very hefty unit here. Yeah, that is going to be very, very scary. I think Kira's not, it's going to be too slow. I think we're just losing this game. My opponent's just way too fast with a 4-powered space unit. If we had something like a spare the target, I think we could compete here. So there's not completely out of the game yet. We do have a good engine going, which is nice, but I don't think we're going to be fast enough. I will be playing out the R2 and the Babu Frick and potentially going Surprise Strike this turn, but we will see. We will see. Let's see what my opponent's going to do. My opponent really thinking about what their options are here. I think you just remove the Sentinel on Lothwolf and then attack and then deploy Kazuda on Stolen AT Hauler, and then that removes the option of bouncing Stolen AT Hauler as an example. My opponent really taking a long time on their decisions though here. Yeah, we will just take out Lothwolf. I think that's pretty okay with us. Hopefully they don't have like a Millennium Falcon plus the Kazuda deploy, but I'm a little bit surprised my opponent did not just deploy Kazuda on Stolen AT Hauler. I mean, I know we could have rivals fall on things, but I think if you just do that and just get in more and more damage, it's going to be absolutely a nightmare here. Okay, they're going to, oh, they've got the Millennium Falcon. That was what I was worried about. Let's go ahead and drop in the Pelimoto. Spare the target. I will want one of those. That is pretty good here. And that means I'm going to kind of change what I want to do here. Let's go ahead and drop an experience token over here. And then we can play the Babu Frick and then give an experience token over to the L3. My opponent really taking a while on these actions here. Not really sure what's taken so long, to be honest. But they're going to get in for 6, and that's a big chunk. As I said, that's really what I was afraid of, was another readied up unit. Are we going to be able to stay alive? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Okay. Maybe my opponent's on the phone, you know? That can definitely be the case. Let's attack, get an experience token on the L3, double spare the target. Well, I think Plo Koon's going to be pretty weak in this game. My opponent's probably just done with any sort of, you know, big old ground unit. I think we're just losing. We got some cool stuff going on, but my opponent's too fast. It is too fast for us. If we had to spare the target last turn, definitely would have had a good chance of winning, just to slow down the game a little bit. But I mean, look at this engine. This is a pretty sweet engine going on. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, I actually really like that for us. We can bounce the Stolen AT Hauler, and that's going to give us an option here to potentially do some good work in this game. I can use Babu Frick's ability to go ahead and kill off the Plo Koon. Boom. We will keep Surprise Strike on top. Actually, that's a nice racing option here. We can go ahead and Surprise Strike in for a little bit of damage. Boom, Surprise Strike in for 7. Pass. Another Babu Frick, just going to be immediately resourced here. We have spared the target, but remember, Ray can go ahead and restore 3. And unless they have an immediately readied up unit here, that's going to be pretty good for us. Because that means that they could have a Surprise Strike as well. And if they have Surprise Strike, we probably just lose. I don't know of a way out of that. So we got to be a little bit afraid of that. Surprise Strike would just do so much damage to us. How much damage do we have right now? We put an experience token. That goes up to 8 plus Surprise Strike plus Ray. That's 26. That's really close, but not quite there. There's a Surprise Strike, and like I said, that's going to be GG. There's nothing that we can do to avoid dying now. We can put an experience token on Ray or on R2D2, but my opponent's got there. This wouldn't have been as close, potentially, if they had Lothwolf attacked. Because they'd have just gotten a little bit of extra damage in there. But yeah, we can deploy Ray here and then kind of do some fun stuff. But there's nothing else that we can do. We can spare the target this back. We can attack him with Ray, give an experience token over here, Surprise Strike in, and this is what I meant, right? Oh man, a Hot Shot Blaster would have been pretty good. 25 damage actually. But yeah, pretty close, but not quite there. Really, really nice value, but Kazuda's a little bit too fast, and we didn't draw spare the target quite fast enough. Into the next game, and wow, what an atrocious hand. We have so many turn 1 plays. Seeing a 10 like this is crazy. That is much, much better. I am way more excited about that. Covert Strength can go into the resource pile. And I think this R2 actually can go into the resource pile. And we're just going to start off with Pelimoto. Easy play here. Happy to go ahead and drop that in play. And then we will see what my opponent decides to do. They're going to go ahead and discard a card. Yep, do their thing. BD1 is actually a fantastic pickup here. I think I'm going to resource... I'm gonna resource the chopper. So now what we could do is go BD1, give Saboteur over Pelimoto. My opponent probably just has like Power of the Dark Side or something. So maybe I should have, I'm thinking about it. I should have probably put down an L3 first. That would have been a little bit stronger for us. That's okay. We will go ahead and probably just claim initiative. That's really, really bad for us. I should have sequenced that a little bit differently. I should have gone with L3 first and then with the play here. Spare the target, probably going to be pretty weak, but that's okay. We're going to kill off the Pike Sentinel with this L3, and then Ezra Bridger plus use Raise action. Definitely missing that sequence there. Okay, they've got... Yeah, this game is just probably over, to be honest. My opponents just had the... pretty nice start, and we made a mistake early on. So we're going to pass here. Spare the target, surprise strike. Lots of random interaction, but I don't know. I don't think spare the target's actually going to be all that great here. I'm hoping that this Ezra can do some good stuff for us here. Timely. Yeah, let's see. Do we want to spark? I think we do want to spark. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Vader. They'll deploy the Kylo Ren. We will... I suppose we will attack the Kylo Ren. Wow. And that is what's on top of our deck? That is pretty bad as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack in for 3, and then I will go ahead and Covert Strength my Ezra here. And then we'll pass. We got a Cartel Turncoat and another Plo Koon. I mean... I'll resource one of the Plo Koons. What kind of upgrades do they have? I mean, it's not amazing what they have. Let's go Ezra Bridger. Yeah, I'll play it and pump up the L3, I suppose. 1 resource for an experience token. So they have a couple of upgrades here, a couple of Amgray Scrapple shots. It can go up to 5. Yeah, it's a 10-13. That's kind of disgusting, huh? 10-13. Ugh. Ugh. He's not a Sith, so Dark... Oh, wow, they didn't go with... Wait, what? Did I do the math wrong? I guess 10-12 isn't much different. Let's go with Plo Koon here. Ambush. We're just gonna have to defeat everything here. I don't mind actually deploying Rey into this and then killing off Rey. And the L3, and then we'll pass. L3 can go into the resource pile as a smuggle option. My opponent, I mean, who knows what they're going to have afterwards, but we definitely made a mistake on that sequencing of the plays. I was thinking, okay, I go BD1, it's going to be a great play, but then, you know, of course, my opponent, I almost, like, basically just knew that they... we're going to have Power of the Dark Side. Like, it was pretty obvious here. We're gonna go with an L3. I put Kira on top because I was gonna smuggle out this guy anyways. So pretty okay with that. We can go experience token over on R2. They have a Chirrut, but Chirrut doesn't really do a whole lot. Would they have Super Laser Blast? There's a chance. So I might want to keep it a little bit lighter on options here, or a little bit lighter on the plays I can make to the board. This Ezra has drawn us a couple cards though, which has been pretty good. My opponent's still resourcing, though. They've got Avenger, huh? I mean, Avenger's pretty good. We did resource double spare the target. Yeah, I think L3 is pretty mediocre here. What do I want to do? I suppose I can surprise strike in with Ezra. Do I want to play that? I think I don't. I don't think I want Kira at this stage. They have an Avenger, which is going to be really tough for us to deal with. Let's go ahead and... I'm going to go with Millennium Falcon and with the Pelimoto here. So we're going to attack in for 2. Attack it for 2. What's on top? Village Protectors. Don't care about that. Pelimoto, Millennium Falcon attack for 3. Pass. There's BD1, Cartel Turncoat. I mean, couple of good ones here. BD1's actually really nice. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, I'll pay 1 to keep the Millennium Falcon on the board. They're going to trade off here. Sure. Let's go ahead and attack in for 1 here and give an experience token over to R2. Get a little bit of value going. They can attack base. I think base is going to be the most useful, but I attacked first because if my opponent attacks base, then... Oh, they have Timely Darth Tyrant. What? In what world? Okay, let's go ahead and go Cartel Turncoat to, again, absorb the Avenger attack. I don't want to have to defeat any of these units. So now they have a choice. They can attack the Millennium Falcon. They attack base. Okay, so we defeat the Cartel Spacer. They can draw a card. That's fine. I will go ahead and go BD1 here. Give +1/+0 to, I guess, the R2. And then we will attack in with Ezra and see if we can grab something pretty relevant here. Double Timely Intervention is very, very good, though. What do we get? Yeah, we will play the Cartel Turncoat. That seems pretty reasonable here. Give an experience token over to the Cartel Turncoat. We're going to go Surprise Strike in, attack for 4. Babu Frick, we'll put that on bottom, and pass. That seems like we won the game, guys. Even with that mistake, and that mistake was pretty critical to the game. We will pay 1 resource to keep that on the battlefield. I don't really know what my opponent... Overwhelming Barrage, I mean, that is good, but it's not going to win the game. We have multiple lethal threats. Overwhelming Barrage is pretty good, but yeah. Darth Rhodes lightsabers, I wonder if they... I mean, I don't know. They haven't shown any Sith units, so I'm not sure why that's in the deck. Not really sure why that's in the deck, but... Really, really close game. They had an excellent hand up against us. Pike Sentinel's obviously very good. Again, we had the answer, but I made a misplay. They had the Timely Super Laser, which felt horrible. They did have the Power of the Dark Side on turn 2. They even had the Vader, which is really nice for us to get rid of. And they even had a late Timely to try to come back. I was worried about the Super Laser Blast, but I just felt like we couldn't really play a whole lot around it. But we did get there with the droids. Alrighty, into the next game here. Let's see what we've got up against this Palpatine list. I like our hand. I do like Babu Frick and Chopper. I think I'll keep. I think Spark could be good up against them. A little bit worried about what they could play here. I think R2 and probably this Village Protectors is going to be the resource. I'm going to go for the higher value play here in trying to get Ezra to draw some cards. Usually Palpatines are a little bit more of a value-oriented game plan, so I'm okay with kind of going with this game plan of play out my units and then just get some experience tokens on them. I'm going to play Babu Frick out first because 4 power on turn 1 is going to be a lot harder to achieve to knock out my Babu Frick. And there's always a chance I can go just put an experience token on him instead of going with Chopper, although I would much prefer to go with the Chopper here. All right, great. We're going to go with Chopper. Hotshot Blaster, easy resource. Drawing the Millennium Falcon, not actually that great at this stage of the game. Usually more of a late game play to get in immediately rated up damage, but Spark Rebellion could be good. Spark Rebellion could definitely be good here. Babu going to actually make our Chopper a deal 3. Sick. Absolutely sick. And actually, if we put an experience token over on Chopper, it's going to be a 4. I know. It's not crazy because we can always just attack with both of these, but, you know. All right, opponent. What is going on? Let's see what they've got here on turn 2. They're going to pass. All right, I'm just going to Spark then. Spark, they've got Concord Dawn. I don't even think I care about Concord Dawn. If they want to go Concord Dawn, that's fine. I'm just going to take the takedown, actually. We're going to take the takedown because I'd rather just them not have an option to remove my units, and I'm going to ignore the Space Arena in this game. So, experience token over on Chopper. And then we will see what my opponent decides to do. I mean, I know they are hand. They don't have any option. Next turn, they have to draw something actually to have any sort of option to play, which is going to be pretty good. They're going to pass here. I mean, sure. Lawful Insurgent, not exactly a great play. We're going to go on an attack, and then I'm not exactly sure what my opponent plans on doing. Hotshot Blaster into the resource pile. Easy peasy resource there. We got a couple options here. I think I'm going to go Experience Token on Chopper plus Ezra. Again, keep developing out that ground arena. Our opponent did draw 2 cards, so it is kind of likely that they're going to have an option to deal with one of my units here. But the important thing is they're not going to get their Palpatine train going. They're going to pass, huh? Well, I mean, I will just go ahead and get an attack in with the chopper. Get an attack for 4, or 3 rather. I know I can put down a another Ezra and get a point of power, but I'd rather just get an attack in because I think my opponent might have an answer, and I'd rather them kill Chopper over the Ezra, actually. Okay, no plays. Perfect. I mean, that's kind of where we wanted to be anyways. Millennium Falcon, super, super not valuable when they have a Sentinel in space right now. We'll see what they've got here. Phase 1 Clone Trooper. All right, let's go ahead and start off with an attack with Ezra, actually. Interesting. Do I care about that? I think I'll leave it on top. I don't mind having the 3rd Hotshot Blaster here. Because what I'm going to do is... what I'm going to do is just Hotshot Blaster the chopper, get in for 6. And we did get to exhaust a resource with the chopper. That was pretty sick, actually. That was actually sick. I know Babu Frick, not as good anymore. Chopper is like one of the weaker ones, actually, with the Babu Frick. But hey, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it, guys. L3 is going to come down, and that's kind of what we're doing here. I figure we leave it on top because when we smuggle out the Hotshot Blaster, we immediately get the other card into the smuggle pile, or the resource pile, which is going to be pretty good. Millennium Falcon, obviously not that great, but now we got double Hotshot Blaster, which means we can just hotshot, and that should be GG. Don't really know what my opponent could do. We could even go Experience Token, deploy Ray, Hotshot Surprise Strike, which is also a fantastic combination of options. So we'll just see what we're going to do in this ending turn here. Messing up my opponent's turn there with the Spark Rebellion was excellent. My opponent's... all right, getting an attack here. I think I'll just go a Surprise Strike on Ezra. Covert Strength, sure, I'll play it to heal up the Ezra. Why not? I think that's totally reasonable. Get to the extra value while I can, get an extra point of damage in. It's essentially like, you know, putting an Experience Token on with Ray. But this time I just get to kind of minimize the actions and do it that way. Gonna go ahead and attack there. They get to go ahead and heal up for 2, but now we just go Hotshot Blaster, attack in, and that's GG. So my opponent just didn't have a card to play. That was pretty much it, and that was good. Into the next game, and we got ourselves a pretty interesting matchup here up against Obi-Wan. Got a couple of smuggle things that we're going to resource here on turn 1, and I think I'm going to go with the Babu Frick plus R2 combination, which I do like. And I'm just going to start off with an R2. We got Spare the Target. Ooh, I do like Spare the Target up against Obi-Wan. And then we will go with Babu Frick here. And then we'll pass Spare the Target Village Protectors. I think I'm going to resource the chopper, actually. I think I'm going to go with Village Protectors or Spare the Target this turn. But interestingly enough, with the Babu Frick, we can actually knock out the Jedi Consular, assuming my opponent doesn't actually play anything with the Jedi Consular immediately to knock out Babu Frick or R2-D2. They could just play like a blue leader, and then the game feels rough. It does feel very rough if that were to happen. So hopefully that does not happen. Ooh, okay, very interesting. Not nearly as scary as some other things that could have happened. Yeah, let's just go Spare the Target on Obi-Wan. Yeah, let's go Spare the Target on Obi-Wan. That's going to be pretty nice, because now we can use Babu Frick to smack into the... oh, wow. Yeah, I do like this. Let's go put that on bottom, just kill off the Jedi Consular. That's pretty sweet. Good work from us. That was obviously a situation where it's pretty bad in terms of what my opponent could have potentially had in that situation. But still, kind of happy with where we ended up anyways. Blue leader would have been the most scary, by far. By far. Let's go with Kira and see what we can kind of prevent my opponent from playing. They've got the axe, which is obviously very good. We're going to name Obi-Wan, though. Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then we're just going to take initiative, claim initiative, and then we will see what my opponent decides to do here as a follow-up. Another spare the target. Spare the target is good. It is a good card. We're just going to knock out the Battlefield Marine with Kira. Definitely on the grindier matchup here. We can go with an attack with Babu Frick. Let's see. I can put an experience token on Babu Frick. I think that's what I'd rather do here. Let's go ahead and attack in. Actually, I could play village. No, I can't play Village Protectors and spare the target. Let's go Cartel Turncoat. Because I think my opponents, what they're going to want to do is put an experience token over on an axe, and then we can just spare the target the axe. Yep, exactly how I thought was going to happen. Nice little value play there, and I will attack the Obi-Wan just to get a little bit of value going here. Peliamoto, obviously not exactly that strong at this stage of the game, but we haven't really done anything. My opponent just had very high value plays, and that's what Obi-Wan Blue does. Jedi Consular on turn 1, extremely scary. Very, very scary play. And we've had a pretty good hand to kind of mess with what they're trying to do. So I do like that quite a bit. Let's go ahead and just drop in the Village Protectors, get a nice Sentinel Bruin. That's going to be pretty strong. It means they can't really attack with Obi-Wan. Ooh, General's Blade, huh? Okay. Let's go ahead and drop in. I mean, I suppose I could Covert Strength. I could R2. I could put an experience token and then R2. I think I'm going to want to deploy Rey here. General's Blade, this is just so much value. So much value. It's so crazy, actually. Just absolutely insane. They're going to get an experience token over Obi-Wan. Great. Not exactly all that. Oh, man. What can I do here? I mean, we kind of have to attack the Obi-Wan here. And they can attack with Torrent Attack. And then hopefully they don't have another 2-drop. Yep, they're just going to trade off here. Seems reasonable to me. We have Covert Strength, which can heal 2 damage. Put an experience token on it, giving it 5 toughness. Oh my gosh, they have a 2-drop too? What an insane hand for my opponent. Oh my gosh, they just keep on coming. This is nasty, obviously. General's Blade on Obi-Wan to prevent it from dying, plus the Obi-Wan, which we knew they had because they had the Sentinel from earlier that we bounced. But then they drew a 2-drop as well to combo with the General's Blade. This is definitely disgusting in terms of what options they had here. We will go ahead and I'm actually going to ignore the Obi-Wan at this point. Kelleran back. Yeah, this is kind of nasty from my opponent. Chirrut. Oh my gosh, they got a Sentinel as well. Like, this is just so bad for us. We're going to go Covert Strength, and then I suppose we're going to try... We can't even knock out the dude. Yeah, this is just horrible. Let's go discard. BD1. That was an excellent draw, by the way. That was a fantastic draw. That is exactly kind of what we needed to even attempt to win the game here. BD1, give the Babu Frick enough power to attack at a base for 5. Spark Rebellion Chopper. I mean, we were probably just lost. But hey, you know what? I mean, we're doing some work here. My opponent could just kill the Babu Frick, but my gosh, I mean, look at the hand for my opponent. This Obi-Wan deck is very scary, by the way. Force is with me. Who are they knocking out? Babu Frick. I'm surprised they did it that way, but hey, you know what? That is an option. That is definitely an option. Let's see here. I mean, we can definitely just go with, I don't know, my opponent's gonna have infinite options for what they want to do or can do here. Too many sentinels, too much power. I'm surprised my opponent didn't just like attack with the Yaddle into it and then just attack base. Like my opponent really is focusing in a lot of damage on my my units here, which I don't think is actually all that strong. Yeah, let's go ahead and play a chopper. And then, I mean, we don't really have an out in this game. My opponent just had so much disgusting early plays. The battlefield marine on top of it all with the Jedi Consular was just so disgustingly good. They even have the General's Blade to pay cheaper on a card here. And close. It was close, honestly. I mean, we did get them to 19 here. And if we didn't have like that many options, as well as the Chirrut, as well as like all the things, it was the Jedi Consular into the extra turn 1 play, or extra 2 resources spent, into the extra turn 2 resources spent, into the General's Blade on the Obi-Wan. It was like every single thing that we were kind of setting up was just getting countered, and that was a little bit of a struggle. It was really close though, actually, surprisingly, but I think that was just might be because my opponent was trying to end the game quicker, and if they just attacked our units, it would have been not as close, which they didn't even need to do, really. So, you know, not actually that close, probably. But droids, we're almost there, guys. Into the next one, we get ourselves Burn Yoda over on the opposing side of the battlefield. Let's see what we could do up against this one. I don't mind this hand. I think it's actually reasonable. We could go like turn 1 Pelimoto into turn 2. I'll actually resource the Plo Koons because I think I'd rather have the interaction here. In a turn 2, like Spark plus Chopper. That seems pretty reasonable. Couple of options here, though. Couple of options going on. Opponent is a resource in here. Let's see what they decide. Figuring out if they want to resource whatever horrible cards they've got in hand. All right, they have resourced. Let's see what they've got here on turn 1. Obviously, the Yaddles and the AGGROs are what we are expecting, and that's exactly what they had. So we'll drop the Pelimoto in. This is obviously not a great stat line for Peli to go up against. So that is something to think about. Okay, another Plo Koon, spare the target. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of spare the target in this spot. If my opponent's going to start with a Yaddle, I was hoping that they would start with maybe a space unit, but Yaddle and AGGRO are what we expected. And then spare the target, I was thinking it could be good on turn 2, but then we drew the Cartel Turnkill, which gives us 2 turn, a 1 resource plays plus experience token plus Pelimoto attack, which seems pretty good to me. So I think we're going to go in that direction instead. But we will see what we decide to do here. It's very possible my opponent doesn't even decide to attack our Pelimoto with Yaddle, and that means that we have an extra turn to kind of do whatever, which would be kind of nice. We can also put the experience token over on Peli to avoid the kill from Yaddle on the second attack, which is reasonable. They've got Yoda, though. They've got Yoda. They're going to just immediately play out a unit. I think that's pretty reasonable from them. We'll see what my opponent's got here as a follow-up. Definitely bad stat line for us to be going up against whatever they've got. We're going to go experience on Peli, Chopper, attack, get an experience token on Chopper, and then pass. Village Protectors actually looks very, very strong here. Kira is disruptive, but I'd rather go Village Protectors to protect some of my units here and then go with an experience token instead of the Kira. I'm keeping the Spark Sorceress Blast, huh? Sorceress Blast is a great card, by the way. Yeah, let's go with Village Protectors. Just drop in a Village Protectors. Sorceress Blast is incredibly powerful. Super cheap interaction. Definitely does very well up against our deck here. And we'll see what my opponent's got. So much Restore on the opposing side of the battlefield, by the way. definitely something that we kind of need to deal with in order to even push past what they've got. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but yeah, Sorceress Blast was an excellent card for them. Force Throw could be a little bit scary. I'm keeping the Spark Rebellion in hand partly because of that. 2 damage is a lot less than 3 damage. All right, my opponent trying to figure out what they want to do here. Definitely a complicated board state in a lot of these games because of all the random cards I'm playing, but maybe it's frozen here. Oh, no. Okay, they're claiming initiative. Interesting. All right, I'm going to put an experience token actually on Village Protectors. Attack. We hit a Rival's Fall. Sure. Attack. Pass. Spark Rebellion or Spark of Rebellion. There's a chance I go double Spark here. I'm gonna resource the Cure because I think it's a little bit too expensive in this game. And the Plo Koon, there is a chance I would play that instead of the double Spark to just get a little bit of board control. The Restorers can be a little bit scary, as I said earlier. The fact that they didn't have any other play, though, and just the Sorceress Blast means that we are definitely in a shot in the money, I think. And I'm surprised my opponent didn't just go attack with Yaddle, because that would remove the shield token, and then when they attack with Yoda, and then they have a little bit of damage on both units, yes, but they got the Restore in, they would get a total of Restore 4 in, and they would have removed the shield token and gotten damage on my Village Protectors. And I think in this game, a little bit of damage here and there is actually really useful, because you have access to Rays, you have access to Sorceress Blast, you have access to Force Throws, and all of those up against the shield token are significantly worse. So we'll see. Shatter Point on what? The Village Protectors. Sure. In that case, I'm just going to go with a Plo Koon here. I'm going to go Plo Koon, trigger, attack, kill Yoda. And then that's going to be kind of a freebie here. Hopefully they don't have like a Sorceress Blast or something, or a Force Throw to follow up. They do get to draw an extra card. Hopefully it's not a Ray. Ray would make things a little bit sad because they could, hit Plo Koon and then prep him to perish viscerally. They're going to attack base, restore 2 here. They could be prepping for a Sorceress Blast here with this Force, so I'm going to attack with the Cartel Turncoat first. No smuggled cards, by the way, which is a little bit unfortunate. Shatterpoint, very, very solid. I'm surprised. Did my opponent even use the Force? I mean, they didn't need to, so. It could have been an argument for putting an experience token over on Chopper or the Cartel Turncoat. There's the Force Throw, hit the Kiadi, kill off the Plo Koon. All right, Force Throw. That's one of the ways that they are able to recover, right? Those are the types of cards that are really, really scary for us to see. And my opponents had a Sorceress Blast and a Force Throw in this game, which is really, really strong. Triple Spark Rebellion, I don't think is where we want to be. I do like BD1, however, so that's a nice little pickup here. Now I can go Experience Token either on Chopper or Cartel Turncoat, plus BD1, plus Attack with Ray, plus double Spark. So that could be really good for us. And I do want to start with Spark here, but my opponent probably just has, another Force Throw. It is just super, super good for them. Spark my opponent here. We will get rid of the... I suppose we'll get rid of the Secretive Sage. They can't play it. And then we're going to Spark them again. Spark my opponent yet again. They're going to claim initiative. We will give an experience token over to the Cartel Turncoat. We're going to deploy Ray. We're going to put BD1 over on... I suppose I could put it on Ray, which is a little bit interesting. But the reason I'm doing this is... I can give an experience token over to BD1. And wow, no smuggle options still. And if they defeat my Cartel Turncoat, then I still get the extra power from Ray. Plus, I like having Ray having Sentinel. So my opponent has to resource something most likely because they kind of do. I need to get to Yoda. But they didn't resource anything, and they're going for Blind Spark of Hope, or You're My Only Hope, and they hit a Mace Windu. ridiculously lucky. Like, oh my gosh, that was incredibly lucky. Jeez, that was disgustingly lucky. Okay. Okay, opponent. Okay. I see you. Jeez. What a crazy pickup. This is fine though. They're gonna trade, and then we get to spare the target back the Mace Windu. I mean, do we even want to do that? Yeah, we do. We do want to do that. We absolutely want to do that. Oh man, what an absurd "You're My Only Hope." That was crazy. Blind hitting the Mace Windu, huh? That's like really what they wanted. Some sort of thing that's going to affect the board immediately off the top of their deck. They didn't even resource. It's crazy. Attack, play the Cartel Spacer. Hotshot Blaster, that's a really good one. That is a nice pickup. That makes it pretty likely for us to win the game on this turn. But yeah, no resourcing was a little shocking. I think they should have definitely resourced, because now, had they done that, they do this same play with Mace Windu, and then we go Hotshot Blaster. I mean, we still are very likely to win, but still. Very, very close game. My opponent, I think, was really close to winning. They had the force throws to really work well. They discarded themselves. I think the "You're My Only Hope" turn, if they had resourced, what happens? So the "You're My Only Hope" with Mace Windu. Then they kill off my Cartel Turncoat. This whole thing happens. We spare the target. They go to the next turn. We have the 2 units down. I think what they do is they just blind flip Yoda, because we have a bunch of 1-drops. Literally everything in their deck probably kills it. I don't think they have any 0-drops in their deck. So we would Hotshot Blaster BD1, or they would blind flip Yoda, kill off the BD1, probably is what I would assume they would do. We would attack in with the Cartel Turncoat, which would have been 3 damage. So that would have put them at, what's that, 25. Then they play Mace Windu, kill off my Cartel Turncoat, but then they get to attack with Yoda to start restoring 2. Yeah, I think we would have lost had they resourced. So really close game though. Jeez. Into the next game, and we got ourselves a pretty reasonable hand here, actually. I'll resource the Ezra. I do like the R2 plus Babu Frick. I'm going to put Ezra on bottom. They've got Gunji. We're going to go Babu Frick. As we had discussed beforehand, they could have a General's Blade, and if they do, I'm going to be pretty happy. I'm actually going to resource the Plo Koon. Against this matchup, I'd rather have a little bit more interaction, ability to kind of mess with their opponent's hand and do stuff like that. If they have General's Blade here, spare the target's going to be... Ugh. So nasty for us, by the way. Absolutely nasty. They got the force throw here to mess with our cards. So we're going to go Village Protectors here. They're going to go Cassian. All right, we're going to attack in, spare the target, put on bottom, and then they'll attack. We will claim initiative. We will probably resource the Millennium Falcon, I suppose. And then we will just go with experience token over on Village Protectors. Kind of unfortunate they had the Cassian as well. What an aggressive start for my opponent, by the way. Absolutely aggressive start. Here, I mean, I'm probably just going to go with the... I mean, I could go Hotshot to knock out Gunji, but I think that's like a losing play. Let's go ahead and discard the spare the target and hopefully pick up... Yep, Cartel Turncoat's actually pretty reasonable. We can go ahead and play that. As a card here for this turn. They have an Ayla Sakura. All right, well, that is very scary. Let's put Kira on bottom, pass. Another Hotshot Blaster. Hotshot Blaster doesn't look too bad. Ayla's very scary. Cassian. Ooh, or General Riken, huh? Wow. This is kind of a nasty situation to find ourselves in, huh? Let's just go ahead and attack him with Cartel Turncoat and see what my opponent wants to do here. Okay, they're gonna do the thing that I was hoping that they would do realistically. Let's go BD1, give R2D2 the Saboteur here. What a fantastic curve from them, by the way. Up against us, Usually this deck's a little bit slower, but I like the changes that they've adapted to in this game. Very, very solid from them. I think we're going to have a huge hard time actually dealing with what my opponent's got going on. We'll take the Kiadi. Our deck is just a little bit too slow for my opponent going with the force throw on turn 2 plus Cassian. Like, that's just not something that we're going to be able to deal with really at all. My opponent, they've got Ayla. They're going to be able to knock out all their different units, which is going to be a really big problem. We go Hotshot Blaster. We have to deal with Ayla. It is what it is. There's not much other options that we have. We can deploy Ray, but again, pretty rough circumstances here. I'm going to go Experience Token over to Cultural Turncoat. We can deploy Ray, I suppose, and then we will pass. Wow, passing with Ray deploy. Oh, guys, it is rough around here. You're going to attack, hit Ray. I mean, we will attack and just give an experience token and then just trade, I guess. Han going to be able to deploy a lot of different things. We're going to play Kira. They've got Crate Dragon Blue Leader. I mean, we will name Blue Leader, I guess. We just have to stall. There's no other way for us to win unless we stall. But they could still, do the action and take out Kira. So still very, very strong from them. We're going to go with Millennium Falcon here. Attack for 3. Pass. Resource the Pelimoto. Oh, my opponent's just going to be able to play out the Crate Dragon and probably kill us. Oh, they have Yoda. Even better for them. GG from our opponent. Doing some good work. This is very, very strong. Very, very strong early plays from our opponent. If they weren't quite as resource inefficient as they were, I think we would have had a good chance. But the fact that they had a 3/3 on top of the force throw to deal with the Babu Frick on turn 2, that's what really dealt with our board here. We could have used Spare the Target, but honestly, Spare the Target, it would have waited for a while before it got really good. Really, the General Riken is also what put a wrench into things, because not only were they able to get Ayla down, I was like, oh, Ayla's not that big of a deal, and then they put a Sentinel in front of it, and it's like, oof, that's rough. All right, jumping into the next game, guys. I just tried to play 3 games in a row, and each one of them they left due to inactivity. So we're gonna try another one here. Dropping the Pelimoto. I do like our hand up against my opponent so far. This is definitely the high value hand. We got an L3. We're going to drop that into the resource pile. We got L3 plus experience token plus attack with Peli, which is nice. Or we can go Spark of Rebellion, Cartel Turncoat, get an experience token. That's actually not bad. Either way, we got options. And I do like that. My opponent, if I were my opponent, I would immediately make my play. But they didn't, which means, yeah, I'm going to go with the experience token on Peli plus experience token on L3 with the attack. Mainly because it's very, very likely that my opponent's just going to be playing a high value unit here. And if they do, then we will get some experience tokens. I don't think they have open fire. That's like the one thing that would go wrong with this. Oh, my opponent's got like the space deck, huh? Okay. My opponent's like playing Space Han. Kind of surprised on that one, but you know what? That's totally reasonable. Village Protectors does not look that fantastic in this hand here. Spark Rebellion probably all not that good either. Cartel Turncoat does look pretty good, so maybe I will index towards that. I mean, they've got 6 damage on the board right now, plus Restore 2. That's not bad at all. Chewbacca, huh? Chewbacca is pretty good. Yeah, Chewbacca is quite solid here. It is gonna be tough to deal with that one. Let's go with R2 discarding the Spark, and let's see if we can grab something relevant. BD1 is pretty good. I do like BD1 quite a bit here. Let's go BD1, put a little Saboteur on this one here. Attack, get another experience token on L3, and then we can go Cartel Turncoat Surprise Strike in. They have another play. Wow. They have another play here. That is horrible for us, actually, because we were relying on the Cartel Turncoat plus Surprise Strike to deal with the my opponent's Adept Arc 170. So actually, really, really bad for us. Really bad for us. It's okay. Maybe, probably not, but it's okay. It's okay. We will try. We will try to get there. Let's see what my opponent's got here. I think my opponent just ignores my space units and then just goes to town here. Okay, interesting. I'm going to go with an experience token on card till try to knock out the red 5. Okay, we're going to knock out the red 5. Do my little smackaroo there. Not bad, not bad. They've got Gunji, huh? Interesting. Let's go with attacking with Pelimoto, get an experience token over onto the L3 here, because we can now one-shot Han. Oh my gosh, how many freaking upgrades do you got, my friend? How much do you have? I'm very, very scared about what can transpire here, but I mean, I don't think we have many options in terms of what we have available to us. I think we just lost, realistically. We have to draw a surprise strike is the only way out. It's the only way out. The Millennium Falcon was no surprise strike. That force throw literally won them the game. Because they had a very something I was not expecting, by the way, with the Han deck. They had a very space focused deck, and we were relying on Cartel Turncoat. Oh wait, they're not just winning the game. What? They had the win. They had the win. Now we just win because we can knock out their unit here, and then we could knock out the Gunji in theory. And then, I mean, I'm totally okay with this. Let's go ahead and put an experience token over on R2 here. Do they have... They don't. So now we get to deploy Ray. We get to put L3 down. And then that's really just to... Oh, I was thinking that was a misplay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead and... So we need to attack into one of their units here. So we attack in... That's 6. So we have 2, 6, 8. So we go attack, give an experience to R2. Attack into Luke, give an experience to BD1. Attack, 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 and then pass. And now we've wiped the board. I mean, my opponent should have just won the game. And we should have had an L3 on the board. So we've both made mistakes. We've done horrible, horrible things, my friends. We are both horribly, horribly mistaken. But that is okay. We are hopefully going to get there. Had to do some math in my head, some quick math. Yeah, my opponent should have just attacked with the Arc 170. We didn't have an answer. Surprise strike was the answer because we could have killed off one of their units. The problem is that we could not kill both their units in one action. That was the issue. They have Radis, huh? I mean, Radis doesn't even one-shot us. So I think we've got this. I think we've got this. We get to go ahead and attack in with the... I mean, we gotta go BD1, put an experience token on R2. We then can go Hotshot Blaster, attack in. Ray, attack in. Give experience token to Ray. Attack in with the Babu Frick. Pass. Another Hotshot Blaster. And I think we got there. I mean, we do have lethal with just the R2 attack, but my opponent's going to have something to buff up this Radis in order to win. Definitely just a misstep from my opponent, but, you know, hey, we've done it too. We've done a lot of them in the video. The Droid deck, guys, I'm not familiar with playing this one as much as some other decks, but it was a fun one to play regardless. My opponent, a little bit more of War Juggernaut, huh? That's one you haven't seen in a while. That is definitely one that I have not seen in quite some time. Let's just go with Hotshot Blaster in for a good chunk here. Pump up the BD1. We can I mean, I guess we have to take initiative, huh? Yep. I was gonna say we were about to make a mistake. I was about to attack in. That would have been 3 damage, not 4. So yeah, that would have been silly. That would have been the cherry on top, is if my opponent threw the game and then we threw it back to them. I mean, we should have had the L3, so we almost threw it back to them regardless. But you know what? We got there, guys. Ray Yellow. Let's get it. All right, guys. What did we learn with Ray Yellow here? This deck was crazy fun. It was fun. I like the whole, grinding it out, get all these big units developing and all that stuff. It is fun to do that. Here's the problem. It is so many actions. Between the 1-drops coming down, the Ray action, the attacks in sequence, you just are too slow. You're too slow. If this was space droids, like if these were flying units or space units, I could see us actually having a deck here. The problem is that ground right now is extremely dominated by high value units. Things like General's Blade, 2/4s, which are horrible for us to deal with, by the way, because 3 toughness is significantly easier for us to deal with than 4 toughness, mainly because of like Babu Frick and some triggers like that, just to instantly one-shot. But anyways, it is really tough to deal with all that, and we are indexing super hard into going wide on the ground arena. There are some games that were really strong there. We have to go out of control, but definitely most decks are going to be able to deal with a lot of things that we've got going on. One of the nice plays that we had is like Village Protectors to protect some of our early drops, but even in those games, most of the time our opponent just had a Shatter Point and then just kind of ran through our board. So definitely fun. I would definitely recommend you all give this a shot. It's a very budget friendly deck. If you were to take out the Millennium Falcons, like some of the cards that are like, okay, they're in there just for a little bit of extra value. Millennium Falcons, certainly. And then if you were to take out like Hot Shot Blaster, which is another big one, this is actually really good. Millennium Falcon is just kind of decent, but Hot Shot Blaster is very good. So it does weaken the deck. But if you were to take out those 2 cards, the deck is very budget friendly. So definitely one that is fun to try out, at least to play some droids and such. But hopefully you all enjoyed. I had fun with some droid tribal, guys. I cannot wait until we're in a situation where you just play like all droids and like do some fun things with that, or like all Jedi or all Sith and things like that. I am waiting for that. That is going to be my favorite day. But that said, I still had fun today, and I'll catch you all on the next one.